Stress can be violent, hard-hitting, or it can be subtle, lying beneath the surface of a normal day, or a respectful smile. It bubbles below the surface, pestering to be heard and seen. How is this stress staying alive? Who's giving it life? Is it the ego mind? Is it attachment to the past or beliefs we hold so dear? Is stress the ego? Does the mind-ego cause us stress? The ego mind is our creation, our sense of ownership, separateness and attachment. Do you lie in bed at the end of the day agitated by the ego mind, listening to it, giving it worth? Do you wake up and find your familiar self through the ego mind? Are you allowing it to dictate the colour of your day? We perceive our life from two different perspectives, mind and soul. And the soul's truth battles the ego's smart ways, which has no wisdom or love. We are all souls having a human experience. It's true. And the ego will only survive when we respond to it, giving it worth and momentum to grow. It works so hard to make us believe what it says, does, and thinks is truth. And so the dance of consciousness begins. It's time to work with our truth, our intuitive voice. We perceive our stress as something we are enduring, as if we are the victim. A perception based on the result of our ego and its reactive state. Our perception of people and their actions. Firstly, manage your inner voice and thoughts. Become aware of how you are, what you feel, how you respond, not reacting to the world. Shine your light. Become the observer. That observer is consciousness. Every time you hear the inner voice of doubt, the ego mind telling you stories of the past and its impact on this moment, or tells you how it is for someone else when you barely understand how it is for you, take a moment. Breathe deeply. Set your intention to bring your awareness back to yourself. From there, feel your life force running through you. Align yourself, as the ego mind doesn't exist here. Set your intention to clear and then release what is not needed, and replace it with love.
So we spend so much of our lives in stress. And people talk to me about stress all the time, how they're stressed out with their lives. Stress from anything to cooking a meal, to appearing on stage, to doing something for their children, to speaking up, to dealing with a partner. We label stress in so many areas of our life. It's ridiculous. It's almost just the word we use for anything that's out of our complete comfort. Well, we need to be out of our comfort. We need to feel discomfort in our lives in order to grow, in order to expand ourselves. And that's what we're here to do. We're here for expansion. And the only way we gain expansion is through our awareness. So becoming more aware of when you're stressed and why you're stressed, instead of being on autopilot and just, oh, I'm stressed, this is how I feel. No, take time to really look and reflect and see why you're stressed. What is the reason for it? And I can find that I'm stressed over something that I do well and that I've done before. And I think, why? Why is the stress there? So I take away the healthy side of the stress, which is motivating and making sure that I'm, doing my best at something, I'm giving my best. Then I look at the other side of the stress, which comes from a place of programming from my past, old traits, old programming of not feeling enough. And I see how that stress in my child self is playing out. And it really isn't relevant to the situation, it isn't relevant to who I am today in this present moment. But it's on autoplay, it's habitual, it's something that just arises anyway. And the only way to get hold of that is to be aware of it and understand it. Understand where it originates from. And when you do, and you see how these traits play out as if they're part of us, and they don't have to be, then we can do something about it. So is stress healthy? Well, I don't think it's healthy, but I certainly think that through awareness, we can see it differently, and we're able to move through it and move past it to create something more positive in our lives, to create something which we can then move forward, something we can expand from, learn from. There will always be things that make us uncomfortable, but I don't think we need to be at a point of stress where we're held back, where we feel that we're not enough.